Hello everyone, welcome back to Naomi's Bookshelf. We are going to do December's TBR. Now I have been wrestling about should I do one or not, and I basically decided I wasn't going to do a TBR, and then I just saw the Readathons and I wanted to participate, and so we're doing 4 Readathons. I am not committing to them all like die hard, but I do want to really, I don't know, finish off the year strong. So I am going to participate in, let's see if I can remember them all. I'm going to participate in the Create Your Own Holiday Adventure, which is hosted by, I think it's 3 or 4 hosts. I saw it mostly first time on Tia and all the books, her channel. I know that there are several hosts as well, so I will link her channel and all the others down below. I'll also link everyone who is hosting any of these readathons below. Then we have Tis the Season-a-thon, which I think has 3 hosts, and that's running from the 30th to the 6th. Create Your Own Adventure one is the whole month, I believe, which is lovely. Then we have the Very Merry Readathon, which I think takes place from the 13th to the 19th, maybe the 20th, something like that. And then there's the Cloak and Dagger, which Cloak and Dagger Christmas, which is the one hosted by Kate Howe and 3 others. I will link, like I said, everyone down below. I just can't help myself. I genuinely love readathons, and I love all of these readathons. I have participated in Tis the Season-a-thon, Cloak and Dagger, and Very Merry Readathon for a couple years now, and I am very excited to do them again, and I can't help myself with Create Your Own Adventure. So it's going to go well. I am convinced of it. So we're going to jump into the books I'm going to read, and we're going to go based on the way the readathons are working throughout the month. So we're going to start off with Tis the Season-a-thon, since that one starts first, and the books I'll be reading for that one, I have a bunch of ebooks, so I don't have a lot of physical books. I say that and I have a stack. So I do have a lot of physical books. Most of them are mysteries though, so they're sort of for the Cloak and Dagger. So I'm hoping to fly through these ebooks that I've acquired and kept on my books app for too long. I have a problem where I buy all of these for free or really, really cheap, and then I just never read them. So this Christmas is the year I'm going to read these books that I have been buying. So for Tis the Season-a-thon, for the first one, for a holiday-themed book, I'll be reading A Hummingbird Christmas by Cara Foley. This is just one of the first ones that popped up on my app that I have not read. I don't know anything about it. It's just a Christmas book that's there. Looks fast, looks quick, holiday romance. So for prompt number 2, it is a book that you meant to read in the last year. So I am going to be finishing out a couple books this month. That's also a big plan of mine. And I'll be finishing out Emily of Deep Valley. I have been trying to finish this book for 5 months now. It's good. I just have been struggling to physically read it or to read it on my Kindle app, since I, for some reason, cannot read on a Kindle app. But I'm going to pick it up and try again. I do want to finish out this series by the end of the year, so that will be exciting. This one is by Maud Hart Lovelace, and this is the final companion novel to the Betsy Tacy series. And this one was about, from my remembering, Emily, who she's just graduating from high school, and she, I think, wants to go to college, but her grandfather is very conservative, and she is really just trying to figure out what to do. And she's also kind of homely compared to her cousin, she feels. And from where I got to, the boys were coming over, and her cousin is the one who all the boys like, and so she just feels very out of place and in that environment. So I'm hoping to see her come into her own, and it'll be exciting to finish off this series. Now the next one is, let's see, Lights on the Cover. I'm going to pick up my book again. And this one I will be reading his Christmas Cowgirl by Alyssa Callan. So this one, I don't really know anything about. This is just another one that had lights on the cover. which I have here for you to see. And then I have, for diverse book, I have one that I have been meaning to read for like a year and a half now. And that is China Rich Girlfriend by Kevin Kwan. Now, this is one that I started, I think it was like 50 pages in, and I just never finished it, never continued reading it. And I really want to read this series some more. I loved the first one, so I'm excited to continue into book 2. This one is very crazy of a world. It's a very crazy world to read about and to see through these characters' eyes. So I'm excited to pick it up. And maybe if I have time, squeeze in, this is like not for 'tis the season-a-thon, but maybe squeeze in rich people problems in December, but this is for 'tis the season-a-thon for diverse read. And then the next one is a cozy read, which I am still going back to for this one, Emily of Deep Valley. This one is definitely a cozy read for me. Otherwise, I might pop in another ebook if I have enough time. That one other one that may be fitting in to another section of this TBR, but this one is definitely a cozy series for me, so that'll be exciting. Okay, lighting is really not great in the winter to film with. I'm sorry. Next one we have, I'm gonna go with A Very Merry Christmas. Now this one is one that I have not really planned out my TBR for because it's hard. For the most part, I'm thinking I'm just gonna be reading A Christmas Carol, which is just, it's a cheat to say that. I have a nice edition out there, but for the Christmas, for that readathon, I want to be reading this book at the very least. This is a Charles Dickens Christmas. Now for the prompts, they're all based around A Christmas Carol this year, which is lots of fun. Now I don't have on this one some of the prompts, but I think it will work. So let's go over what it will work. For the first one that it will work for, it'll be for The Ghost of Christmas Past, which is an old favorite, which is a Christmas Carol in here. I've read it for 3 winters now in a row, 3 Christmases, and I've really enjoyed that experience. Then it has a book that I feel like reading, which it just definitely has that Christmassy vibe to it. It's Christmas. Then Disability Rep with Tiny Tim, and then the group book, which is A Christmas Carol. So for an intimidating book, I'm not sure what I'm going to read yet. I have some stacks here. We'll see what I finish within that week. I'm thinking, I'm pulling off the top of my head right now. Let's go with Born Supremacy. Such a different feeling of a book. This one I finished Born Identity a while ago and loved it. And I have been putting off reading Born Supremacy for a very long time. So it's not that long. Well, it's like 600 pages. So it's a bit big, but it is something that I've been wanting to read for a very long time. And it's just, I don't know, it's just been sitting on my shelf, kind of intimidating me. So I'm gonna probably pick this one up for the intimidating factor. And then for gold cover, let's go with maybe this one. There's a gold banister, which is Death Wears a Mask, and this is by Ashley Weaver. So this one I picked up at a library sale. It's about murder in the 1930s, and it looks very glamorous, and I cannot wait to read it. So I'm not really sure anything else about it, and I don't want to know anything else about it. I'm about to edit this, and I just realized I never told you what this one was. This is the Christmas Carol, A Christmas Carol, The Chimes, and the Cricket on the Hearth. I have a novella bind up. I have read, obviously, Christmas Carol and The Cricket on the Hearth, but I have never read The Chimes, so this will be one that I'm prioritizing this year. And I do want to try reading The Cricket on the Hearth again, as I remember reading it last year, but I don't remember much about it. So this is a whole bind up that I'm planning on reading for the entirety of the Very Merry Readathon, but I also plan to read the other books as well. So that is the Very Merry Readathon TBR. Next, we have the Create Your Own Holiday Readathon. So we're getting to Cloak and Dagger. Don't worry, we're getting there. We're getting there. So for the first one, we will be reading a wish list book. For that one, Now I'm not sure if we have to read these in order because I don't do well with that kind of a readathon, but I do want to really participate, so I'm doing 4 prompts. So for these, I'm also picking I think I'm picking all ebooks. Yep, all ebooks, because I have a lot of them. And the first one I'm picking for that one is I'm gonna first of all follow the holiday romance path, since that works, I think, best with what I have on my shelves. So for the first one, it's the wish list book, and I'm gonna pick It Happened at Christmas by Kristen Crum. This is actually a book club book for one of my online book clubs. It's very exciting. It's gonna be a holiday romance, and I am excited for it. I don't know anything about it, but it's a self-published book, and it's a Christian Christmas romance, so I'm excited. The next book is, and it's actually on the way, so it's technically wish list. It's coming. The next one is a second chance romance, or a book I meant to read last year, and I'm going to be reading Christmas Glitter by Anne Harrison. Now this one, I looked up synopsis for these, but I don't really remember anything about them. I know I bought it within the last couple of years, so I should have read it last year. I meant to read it last year, I'm sure. That's why it's on this. I don't think it's a second chance romance, but I meant to read it, I'm sure, last Christmas. So it's on. The next one we have is a warm setting, which I don't have a warm setting holiday romance book or holiday book. So I'm kind of struggling with that. However, I have a book about someone who goes on a holiday to a warm location. Does that count? If that's the case, I have 2 options. I have The Greek Escape, The Greek Escape, if I can say it, by Karen Swan, or I have The Honeymooners by Christina Lauren, which I would be rereading. So either one of those will be my holiday in a hot location. Then the last one is a book I would give as a gift. Now these are obviously hard to do with not knowing the book, but I think I'm going to do The Cotswold Christmas by Kate Hewitt. This is one that the cover looks just so cute, and the book looks just, from the description, small town. It looks like a bed and breakfast, and just a carpenter who's trying to help out this owner of a bed and breakfast who's just failing and struggling and needing help. So it just sounds so cute and romantic and Christmassy. So that's a book I would probably give as a gift without knowing much more about it. So that is my Create Your Own Holiday Adventure TBR. Now to Cloak and Dagger. My goodness, this is a long TBR. So I have 8 books for this. I wanted one for each prompt just to push myself. Not like I'm not pushing myself, but I don't know. The problem is that I can't find one for the final prompt. So if I think of one, it'll probably come in, but if not, it's okay. So the theme for this one is Clue, or Cluedo if you're not from North America, locations. So in this game, in this one, there's like 9 rooms that you can find books for. Now I have, like I said, 8, and I'm excited to do them all. And as I've been going through my bookshelves, like redoing my bookshelves, there is a vlog coming up, or a bookshelf redo video coming up of that. It became apparent to me that I own a lot of books that I have owned for a while and I have not read. So we're gonna try and fix that this Christmas with a lot of mysteries that I should fly through, and that way I can get off my shelves if I don't like them. So the first prompt is for the study, which is a book related to your profession, or a book that relating to something you'd want to learn more about, or even a book that you read in school. And so I'm going to be reading the very first ever Murdoch mystery that I've never ever read. And I've watched the show, but I've never read the books. And this is by Maureen Jennings. This particular book is Under the Dragon's Tail. Now this one, I don't really know much about. I found this and I was like, oh, Murdoch Mysteries, I love that show. I haven't read it. So from my understanding, this one is about a woman who is a midwife and an abortionist who dies. And so Murdoch is like, well, I don't really know what's going on. And then the next week, a child is found dead in her home or where she was found dead. And so suddenly there are more children at risk. And I work with kids. So it works in my mind, kids and kids. So that will be my study book. The next one is library. I'm trying to find it out of the corner of my eye. A book that references other books or a book they got from the library. But I'm going to read one that I have started already. And I know this might be technically cheating in some people's views with readathons, but I have a lot of started books. I need to finish them. So I'm going to give this one a try, and that is Home Before Dark by Riley Sagar. Now, this one is about a woman who, when she was a girl, her father and mother bought this house. And they fled the house like 18 days later or something. And her father wrote this story about the house, and like it's a true ghost story about how they fled the house because of the ghosts and the creepy things going on. So this book actually has her story and his book interwoven. So I think that totally counts for referencing other books. It's very spooky, and I really want to get back into it and finish it. It's creepy, and I would like to get this one done before the end of the year. So that's definitely a priority, as much as I can say that. So the next room is the hall, which is the entry to a new subgenre or author or series or whatever. And I will be doing a new author and a new series, I guess, as it is one and the same. And this is one of those books I found cleaning up my shelves and discovering I have not read this book yet, and it looks like winter to me, if that makes sense. So I am going to be reading Why Kill the Innocent by C.S. Harris. Doesn't that book look like winter? Like, come on. So this book is set in 1814, and it is about, I believe, a woman who dies. I can't remember. Princess Charlotte. So a young musician is found half buried in the snow, and her ties to Princess Charlotte makes this be a big problem. And so Sebastian Sincere, who is the detective mystery about the series, has to investigate. So this will be one that I am looking forward to reading. And like I said, it looks like winter, so I'm excited to read it in this time. So after the hall, we have the billiards room, which is about the cue balls. So the next book in a series, or a book involving sports or a game. I'm going to go with the next in a series, which you've already seen this one, but that will be The Bourne Supremacy by Robert Ludlum. Like I said, have read The Bourne Identity, which was book 1, and I have yet to read this one. So I own the first 3, and I believe those are the only 3 written by Robert Ludlum. And I am excited to actually continue in this series. So that is for the billiard room. The next one is For the Conservatory, which features, which is about warmth or travel or nature. And I am going to go with one that takes place in a different continent than mine. So maybe not travel, but kind of. And so I'm going to go with one that takes place in Australia, which is the Agatha Christie Book Club, and this is by C.A. Larmer. And so I am excited to read this one. I read book 2 in this one first by accident, and that was such a great, fun, cozy mystery. It took place on a cruise ship. It was really clever, and it was Murder on the Orient SS. Highly recommend that one. So I want to check out the first book in this series, and it's about apparently how the forming of this book club took place, and then someone dies. The husband of one of the members dies, and all the members decide to be like Hercule Poirot or Miss Marple and figure out who done it. So I'm excited to pick up this one as well. It is an ebook that I have picked up, so I'm excited to fly through that one. Next, onto the kitchens, which is all about either a cozy food mystery, which I'm not a giant fan of, and that's just, okay, it's just not for me, or a small town mystery. So I'll be picking up, let me get this right, A Winter's Secret by Lynn Coate. Now, this one is another book I just picked up on my Kindle, and this one is a small town mystery, and from the description, it sounded like someone is breaking into the elderly people's homes or seniors' homes and like destroying them, and the sheriff is trying to solve it. It also is a suspense romance, as there's a deputy or someone who is coming in and she is trying to help solve it with the sheriff. So it looks like there's a romance between them, but there is this mystery element of trying to stop these burglars or whoever's terrorizing the small town. So I'm excited for that. Next is The Dining Room, which is about a closed circle mystery, so very few people and no one in or out, or a dinner party of sorts. So I'm gonna go with a closed circuit mystery, which that's how I call it, closed circuit or closed circle. And I'm actually going to reread one because I really want to. I want to reread An Unwanted Guest by Sherry Lapina. It is in the stack, so I don't know where it is. But I'm excited to reread it. When I read it, it felt like winter, and I was reading it in summer, so I want to read it in winter. It's about these guests that are stuck in a hotel in the middle of a blizzard, and they can't get out, and they start dying, and it's wonderful and creepy, and I just remember really enjoying it. So I want to reread it and enjoy it all over again. So that will be my closed circle mystery. So the last two rooms are going to be the same book. And these are a book you've already seen, so sorry for no more suspense for that. But this will be for The Lounge, which is a book taking place in the 1920s or 30s, and also for The Ballroom, which is a party, and I'm assuming that this one is about a party, just based on the cover. Because doesn't that one look like a party? He's holding a mask. It's gotta be a masquerade of some sort. Anyways, this one is Death Wears a Mask, like I showed you before. Like I said before, don't know much about it. It's set in the 1930s, and it's a murder and death, and it looks super interesting. I don't know why I haven't read it yet, but as soon as I saw the prompts, I thought this one's gotta fit. And so I'm very excited that it does for the 1930s. So that is the end of my Cloak and Dagger TBR. But we are not done. We have 2 more books left to talk about. And this is a lot of books. I'm aware. I'm hoping that this will give me options and not limit me or pressure me. That's my hope. So the next one is one that the next 2 are ones that I definitely need to read. The first of which is Becoming by Michelle Obama. I'll be reading this for my book club. I have an audiobook of it, so I'm excited to listen to it. I don't have many audiobooks this month, so that'll be great. And then I have Mary Barton by Elizabeth Gaskell. So I'll be buddy reading this with Megan from Megan the Story Girl. We have tried to buddy read a few books in the last year, and very few successes have come from that. But we're gonna try again, and we're gonna both listen to an audiobook of it, I think, and it'll be really good. I'm expecting great things from Mary Barton. This will also be my newest Timeless Tomes for December. So I'm excited to read another Elizabeth Gaskell. I have not read all of her work yet, so this will be a fun one for me, I hope. And I'm expecting good things at the very least. So I think that's the end of this TBR. There are a lot of books that I have mentioned that I would like to get to, and I'm hoping to get to. I don't have expectations of fitting them all, but I do have hopes that I can get something done, as maybe life won't be too crazy. I mean, Christmas is coming, and who knows what Christmas will look like this year. But at the very least, I am hoping to enjoy some time off and get some reading done, and hopefully get some good books in, and maybe find some new 5 stars this month. I'm pretty sure I will. Anyways, please let me know down in the comments how you are doing, if you're going to be doing any of these readathons, if you have crazy plans like me, or if you're just taking it easy. Also, please leave a comment down below if you are enjoying this end of the year sprint for reading, or if you're just chilling. Whatever it is, I hope you are doing well, and I will see you next time in another video. Bye for now.